What up, it's your boy Dave Tolliver, aka the Black Pavarotti, aka Men at Large Forever. And right now you're tuned in to VEU TV with VEU Magazine. Yeah.
So how that originated was, when you're in a relationship, marriage, and you go to your spouse and you're talking and you're trying to tell them how you're feeling and it's about his family. It was more so he didn't want to hear it. And that's what I would get all the time. I don't want to hear that mess. Y'all fix it or keep me out of it. So the writing of it was very therapeutic for me. So I started writing a diary to keep down confusion in my home. And my mother, just one morning out the blue, 3 o'clock in the morning, calls and was like, "In-laws from hell." And I was like, "Woman, have you lost it?" She was like, "No, that's going to be the name of the book. And it's going to be a bestseller. We'll talk about it, when we get up." Well, needless to say, we published it in 2009. It was a bestseller within 3 months. And then we said, okay, well, let's see the characters come to life. So that was the next step.
That was the next step.
And we did the stage play in Las Vegas for the first time at the Orleans Hotel and Casino in the showroom. So we were the very first stage play in a Vegas showroom.
Okay. Dave Tolliver, can you tell us a little bit about who you play in the stage play?
Yes, I play Jasper. I am the best friend of Joaquin. He's the lead guy. And he's basically going through the situation with his family that's really in his mix the whole time and just really for no reason. I said, sometimes we have family members that they want to just stall your progress and stall your growth just because. I think a lot of times they do that just because they don't have anything going for themselves. You know what I mean? So it's like, well, nah, he ain't, so that's what it is. And I'm Joaquin. I'm like the voice. I'm Jasper, the voice of reason, his best friend. And we've been friends since we were knee-high to a pig, how they say down south. And as we get older, I'm a little bit older, but and I'm like the voice of reason, trying to tell him, man, listen. If you don't get yourself together, you're going to lose another good woman that you let your mama Nim mess up for you. Which we do a lot of times.
Absolutely.
We always a lot of times we allow people to infiltrate our circle and they don't have the experience, don't have a man, don't have a woman, or have never been in a situation where it really counted, where they can give you some valuable advice. You can't. If you haven't gone through anything, you're not going to get anywhere, and you really don't have the license to tell anybody anything anyway. And that's what happens in this production.
All right, so you're the best man holding them down, telling them the real stuff. The
Holding
things we
down.
need men to tell their best friends. Be honest and be real.
Yeah.
All right. So
No hate.
Andrionna, we know a little bit about Dave's character. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the others and what made you pick Dave for that particular role?
I'm sexy.
Dave, we chose Dave because of his singing ability and his personality. And he fit the role perfectly. And selfishly, I wanted to hear the duet between him and Tony. I knew that it was going to be dope, and it was just something that we wanted to see come to fruition. So that was like the largest part, just his talent, his personality. Very fun to work with, very humble, and just enjoyed him, very positive. He's always been that type of person. So that's why we chose Dave. The other characters, Tony Grant was the original Joaquin when we did it in Vegas. Niecy has also played Missy when we did it in Los Angeles. Some of the other, Juicy. We chose Juicy because just watching her on TV and just seeing how she interacts, and I said, this would be dope, bringing her on and just to see if she was going to be the same person that she is on TV, and she was. So it was a hoot. It was just a lot of fun. Shad was just very colorful, and his personality just over the top. And he fit his character to a T. So I think that was a good decision. But I can't take all the credit for that because I didn't do the casting. My son did. My 17-year-old then He's 18 now, DeJuan Williams. He's the casting director.
Wow.
So he's
D-Dub.
the one that got the Mariah Lynn's and the Shods and the Juicies and the Daves. You know, it was his vision, and I just can't take the credit for it. But once I approved it and seeing where he was going with it, I loved it. And it all meshed and came
It did.
together.
Oh, wow.
It really did. That's dope. It
Yeah.
really did
You know
mesh
what? I
together.
love that because we were just talking about you starting at 14, starting in radio,
Yeah, 15
and
years.
having a daughter that's young. I'm a teacher, so I say, you know, that's 17 to give them a start. You have your
Yes.
son doing something, you have your daughter
Yep.
doing something because you started at that age.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think that's a great positive thing. Now, Dave,
Yes, ma'am.
tell us how you prepared for the role. It probably wasn't much preparing, right?
Yeah, tell us
Where
how
have
you
you
prepared for
ever
the role.
been that friend or had a
You
friend
don't know what's crazy?
just like that?
For some reason, before I got married to my wife, she gave me a nickname. She called me Captain Save-A-Ho.
Oh, no.
And because I'm always there for everybody. It's like I never, like, if Dave Tolliver is stressed, I have to figure it out for myself. And it's been that way for a long time. So for that role there, you know, I'm always, I just believe in positive energy, moving positively, having people around me, and being the voice of reason a lot of times. You know what I mean? I hate violence. I just hate negativity. And I guess the blessed thing for me is I've never really had to audition for, I've been in like 40 plays, man. And I've never had to audition, maybe just read a little bit, but it was already predetermined that they wanted me. They just wanted to see if I meshed with everybody else, or if the hype, or if there was any hype behind me that it matched. And just kind of worked out for me. But, you know, I think, and this, you know, some people find this funny, but so being a big dude, a lot of times, they don't put you as the love interest. They don't know quietly that, you know, they girls be liking me. So
Me
you know what I'm saying?
personally, you know, I might be a little
I'm
teddy
just saying
bear.
that girls
Okay, go ahead.
like me. You know, a lot of times the less you say attracts a woman more, and then you up here boasting and bragging, talking about all that stuff. But all the parts that I've had, they, you know, for big guys, it's like they really don't think that, you know, for some reason that you can't be a love interest. You know, like I say, but they girls liking me. But then I'm either the thug, the joke, the pastor, the father, the best friend, and I'm cool with that. Huh?
The granddaddy?
The granddaddy too, yeah, because I did a play earlier this year, and they grade me up, you know, because, you know, I just turned, you know, 48, but, you know, I don't look 48, you know what I mean?
No, melanin.
So,
Melanin.
that
Well,
black don't
right,
crack
that's what
unless
I'm
you
saying.
smoke it, man.
Yeah.
You know, that's the real deal. And, you know, a lot of times I've just been blessed to be cast in the situations that I just fit right in. And for this one, it was just a natural role for me. You know, it was. I didn't honestly have to. I didn't really have to prepare much for this, but you know, she started cracking that whip, and I was like, yo, let me get on it. Because the crazy thing, you know, when you're dealing with, sometimes you have, you know, newbies or, you know, cats that are first or second timers, and, you know, just because of their nerves and, you know, being around people that have, you know, done some things, you might see them on TV or heard their music or something, and, you know, they kind of, I don't know, they might freeze up, or maybe they just not used to the rigorous schedule of plays and rehearsing, and so they don't get it. Like, cause I've been in plays where they fly you in like a couple days before, a few days before, and you got, ain't nobody spending all the money on them hotels and feeding you and all the rest of that stuff for a whole 2-3 weeks for you to perform for one night. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, a lot of times they fly in the nationals. It'd be a couple days. I seen them where I did one play where it was Faith and Fantasia, and Faith and Fantasia weren't there the whole production time. They flew them in the night before. So they had to come in and be prepared, you know, and so that's what happens. You know, a lot of times you don't get all that. So, you know, I'm getting back to the story, is that I didn't even ever rehearse my parts until it was like 2 weeks before.
Right.
And plus I was in and out of town a lot too, but I didn't really rehearse my parts till it was, you know.
Good question.
Yeah.
You're natural. That's what you're saying. You're natural.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
built
long-winded too,
in
I'm
you.
sorry.
You're built in. Don't worry, because we need the knowledge. So you got to drop it, right? So I have a question for you both. How do you handle in-laws, or what advice do you have for people about in-laws?
for me, it kind of wounded me a little bit. So when I did start dating again, after my divorce, and then 6-7 years later, I didn't want to get close to his people, you know. So it kind of wounded me a little bit, and I'm coming out of it because I have to realize everybody is not like my in-laws from hell. So it's just, I'm a work in progress, but to be honest, it did. You know, it wounded me to where I was just like, I don't want to meet his mama. He got brothers and sisters, no. Cousins, no. You know, so, but now I'm coming around, and I'm, you know, giving them me, and what you see is what you get with me. So either you like me or you love me.
Man.
At the end of the day, it really don't matter to me. But that's it. That's the nugget for today.
Okay, Dave.
I met his in-laws. His mom seemed like she's
a sweetheart.
I only met her one time, and I didn't really have a long conversation with her, but I know his mom probably sweet as pie. I can tell she is. And your sisters and them too. I can tell they all. It's all about your upbringing. I think for me, I didn't have bad in-laws. Who gonna see this? Well, let me just tell you this. For me, I didn't put the hammer down like I should have with my in-laws. And it caused, before I got married, my wife's people said, don't you let them move in with you, da, da, da. Now, they wasn't bad or negative people, but just the things that I allowed to go on, I created I guess we'll call it an unhealthy balance in my home when I should have put my foot down for certain stuff instead, but I let it slide. And so now I'm in the process of cleaning it up, or I'm looking at it like, well, okay, well maybe we save this person from that, or we save this person from that. I'm looking at it that way, so I'm not too angry about the things that I allowed to happen in my house. You know what I mean? But like you said, I think we have a tendency to take with us what happened to us before into our next situations. You know, a lot of times we don't give ourselves a chance to heal because we don't want to be alone, or we want to be in this situation, want to feel this way, and that comes from, you know, our parents and grandparents, because they weren't taught to do the same thing, so they weren't able to pass down that stuff. So, you know, we stay in bondage as it goes down until one of us decides to break those.
You emulate what you see.
Mm-hmm.
You're absolutely right. Okay, so we learned a little bit about relationships
Yeah.
and in-laws.
You ask it, we give it.
Ooh, you sure right about that. So give everybody some last words and tell them what's coming up next, because we got to support each other. So throw it out there and tell them come support.
Well, we are going on tour.
Okay.
So In-Laws from Hell is coming to a city near you. We are in the process of doing that, and then we have some other stuff. The Teddy Pendergrass story. We have some things coming up. So I would just say be on the lookout for this whole team, because we're going to bring some nice things, movie, everything. I mean, we just have a big vision, and he said if you speak it into existence, that's it. So Dave, you know, he got some things coming up, and
I signed to, you know, every man loves a curvy girl. So, you know, I signed to their management team. I just kind of like for me, after so many years of being disappointed, let down, done wrong, I don't know, you know, because the entertainment business is horrible. It's fantastic though, but it's really if you don't pay attention to what's going on, it'll suck you dry. It'll bleed you dry, and it was just something about, like, it took me about 8-9 days to give him the paperwork back. She's like, Dave, you signed your contract, And I said, I just kind of move like that. I just kind of let it move with me. And I just see the love that they have in their house, how she pushed, you know, the business problems down to her kids. And you know, they got a lot of things going on. And, you know, I want to get into fashion. You know, I love vests. I'm starting a vest line called Invested. She's into fashion. She can help me with that. They're doing stage plays. I want to write a stage play about me and my dad's relationship. I grew up hating him, and I've done everything from beating through a window, have a gun to his head, everything else, and now we the best of friends. It's such a crazy story. Like, when I can get that out, it's going to free a lot of men out there that are mad that dad wasn't there, and they still using that as a crutch. And you don't have to do that. You know what I mean? Because when you become an adult, you make the right and wrong decisions to do what you know is right or what you know is wrong. And that's what I tell my kids, and I'm gonna close it out, is that daddy has not been the perfect dad. I haven't been the perfect this. But whatever you see that daddy has done that has been good, you take that and you pass it on. But whatever you say was bad, and I'm good for saying I shouldn't have did that. I apologize. I wish I would have did that in front of y'all. This, that, and the third. Right. Take that and you take that out of your everyday, and you move on and you try to be better than daddy was. And so, live, love, laugh, have lots of sex, everybody.
Oh, Jesus. That's Dave Tolliver for
Stay
you.
positive. I don't have any sex, but I'm just saying, live, love, laugh. Live, love, laugh, stay positive. I'm saying if you keep all people around you that are positive,
absolutely,
things will move forward. I'm just saying, like, that energy is so
it's real.
It's real. It's real. It's real, son.
Before we end, the owner of the magazine is going to ask you a couple of questions.
More so, I'm Andrionna, everyone. VEU Magazine, Andrionna, I have a question for you specifically.
Okay.
Kind of backtracking a little bit, but I know you mentioned that the play was inspired by your last relationship.
Yes.
Did you get any backlash from, I guess, the family once everything came out?
That's a good question.
They weren't smart enough. No, I'm just playing.
Probably not.
I really didn't. I heard the chatter, and the rah-rah a little bit, but it never was brought to me. At the time, my mother was living, and she was my manager, and it never was brought to her, because she would have nipped it in the bud. But I think that because it was all true, it was really nothing that they could say. So I would have to answer that, no, it probably was said behind my back, but that's the perfect place. That doesn't